Rick, I guess your first thoughts on what you see from Oregon State defense and special teams wise.
Well, let's start with the special teams. They've got talent. They got an excellent punter. They got a great field goal kicker. The punter's 6th in the country right now in punting, and makes it tough to return the ball on him because he can move it around the back end there a little bit. So we got our work cut out for us. They've done a good job so far, and switched place kickers last week, and this guy's really good at kind of pinning it in a corner and forcing your hand there. So we got our work cut out, but we'll be ready.
And obviously you have a bit of a connection to Oregon State, with like playing over there.
Yeah, I graduated from there, so I haven't been back in a while though. So I think the most recent time I've been back was swung through there when I was recruiting John Bates. So, but even that was just there long enough to see a basketball game and out. So, but yeah, it was a good place for me to go to school, and got a day a little bit today, like about 80% of the days I spent in college.
What you mentioned, John Bates, him, Jake Knight, Matt Pisoni, I think they all were committed to Oregon State at some point. I'm sure you guys know that, but just coincidence or?
I don't think so. I mean, they were guys we'd recruited all along. Especially John's and Jake are both a little bit different because they're local guys. Mm-hmm. And Matt was a guy that I think, in the coaching change, or I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but I think that's what happened there. But they were all guys we'd recruited all along. It wasn't something where we were targeting guys they were going after.
I saw John in the white jersey today. Has he always been in that, or am I just not paying attention, or has he switched over?
No, he's been in the white jersey all the time. He's ready to go if needed.
Is that something that's kind of crazy? I mean, we talk about guys that were once committed to Oregon State, and here, and it's a majority of the tight end room, and that is
Yeah,
it's a weird coincidence, I guess.
Yeah, I think just strange coincidence. Especially since two of those guys are really local guys. I know John graduated from over there, but his family spent most of their time in Fruitland, Ontario, Nissa. Mm-hmm. So, he kind of grew up a Bronco.
Yeah, just talking about going to college in Corvallis. I mean, what is that town like, and the atmosphere at Reser Stadium and all that stuff?
Well, I think they're doing a little bit better than when I was there. So the stadium, they've put a ton of money into it. They do a good job of getting the fans in there. I'm sure it'll be electric, and they'll be ready for us to roll in there and be ready to put on their best show. But it's a college town. I grew up in the Midwest, very similar to a Midwest college town.
Defensively, they got the defensive coordinator that was at Utah State last year, and obviously that game didn't go very well for you guys offensively. What do you take away from that game? I mean, do you watch that game and see kind of what he did that obviously gave you guys some problems?
Absolutely. We watched that game, last spring, this summer, again this week, last week. We put a lot of stock into that. Their defensive coordinator did an excellent job against us. We didn't show up and play to our capabilities last year, and we got pounded for it. And a lot of that was because Utah State did a really good job. We're anticipating seeing a bunch of that stuff, and we've been preparing for it all along. All that said, you've also got Coach Anderson, who's been a defensive guy, who's got his own spin on things, and some other defensive staff guys that have their ideas. So trying to incorporate what Oregon State's shown to be also.
I was going to say obviously different players, but is the scheme and stuff largely the same from what Utah State ran last year?
Yeah, it looks. There are definitely intricacies that are different, but the base stuff is very similar.
Even without Jake in there so far, a few guys, how do you think your group has done these first two games?
I think they've played well so far. We've still got plenty of stuff we can improve on, but I've been pleased that I think those guys are playing physical. They're giving great effort. We're just looking to really clean up all the details and really be a dominant group.
How much a difference will he make once he does get back in there for you?
Well, he's one of the best tight ends around, so I think he'll make a huge difference. He's, I think, been one of the top third down receivers in the country, all that stuff. So he's unbelievably reliable. He's smart. He kind of figures things out on the fly, if something's not exactly as we practiced it. And I think those other guys are starting to get to that point. So But you know, a guy of his caliber, you add him into a group that's playing well. Hopefully, that makes you a ton better.
Is he getting close? I mean, it sounds like talking
Oh,
to
yeah.
Coach Harsin,
Absolutely.
he's getting pretty close.
What about Oregon State special teams on like return?